Hello, today I'm gonna talk about Lars. Lars is an odd character because before he became pink, most of the fans hated him. But in just 2 episodes, that changed. And now, despite the fact that we don't really get to see his space adventures, most people like him. I know I'm in the minority, and I'm gonna sound like a hipster, but I liked Lars before it was cool. I don't really get why everyone hated him so much. Everybody said he was an awful and mean person to Steven, and he treated Sadie very badly, but that's not completely true. Let me explain. When it comes to Sadie, she did most of the work at the Big Donut, and yeah, that is bad. But Lars is a teenager, and a lot of teens are lazy. Plus, Sadie didn't seem to mind doing the work. And because he never got fired, he probably did work, and we never saw it, because we only see what Steven sees. And you know the worst thing we've seen Lars do to Sadie was? He faked an injury to get out of work. But she wasn't mad about that. Oh no. He was jealous because he was hanging out with the cool kids and flirting with Jenny. Do you want to know the worst thing Sadie did to him was? She purposely stranded Lars, herself, and Steven on an island just so she could get closer to Lars. She put their lives in danger and emotionally manipulated him just to kiss him. And there was an invisible corrupted gem on the island, and it could have attacked them at any time. It did try to attack Lars at the end, and you know what happens? Sadie saved him. And because she did, the episode tried to frame Lars as the bad guy, and Sadie is a hero who did nothing wrong. The fans love to say Lars is bad, but nobody ever mentions that episode. Let's move on to Steven. People seem to think Lars didn't care about Steven until recently, but I think Lars always cared about him. I think they're like brothers. If you don't believe me, watch this.
Because you're in love.
That's exactly what an older brother would say to his younger brother. And speaking of Steven being younger, think about this. Before the movie, Steven was 14, but because of his gem powers, he looked about 8. That, combined with his immature personality, the fans thought he was a kid. Connie, his best friend, thought he was a kid. So the rest of the town also probably thought he was a kid. And as I said before, Lars is a teenager. Some teens are annoyed by little kids. Heck, most of the fans thought Steven was annoying. So why isn't Lars allowed to? Okay, now this is going to get into theory territory here, but I think Lars has social anxiety, and he gets nervous, anxious, and scared when around people. And that's why he didn't have many friends, and that's why he wanted to hang out with the cool kids, because they're a group of close friends who are together all the time. But because of his anxieties, he was literally too afraid to speak to them. Maybe that's why he said he was afraid all the time. And I think that's why he got mad when he found out Sadie was hanging out with the cool kids. Because he was afraid that Sadie wouldn't want to hang out with him anymore, and he'd lose one of the only friends he has. Plus, it took him a long time to get up the courage just to speak to the cool kids, and Sadie didn't even care about being friends with them. But now she's in a band with them. Now that Lars has become a pink space captain, he has his loyal crew, the Off-Color. They are now his good friends, and maybe because of them, and because he has more confidence, he will be able to make new friends. Hopefully ones who wouldn't kidnap him or trap him somewhere or try to kill him, like Ronaldo did that one time. I have one more thing to say. The final big complaint people have is that Lars episodes are repetitive, because at the end, Lars goes back to being how he always was. But I say it's much more realistic that way, because in real life, people don't automatically change in one day. It takes years, and the way they handled Lars was much better than a certain other character's development. And that concludes my analysis video. Maybe now, when you rewatch the show, you will all look at Lars a little differently. I hope you guys liked this. If you did, share, like, and subscribe. It would really help a lot. Thank you for watching.